Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamatsyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Sahana Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Yeah, Om everybody. I hope all of us have the patience, Dhruti, to complete this text. We are very close to the end now, about 40 more verses to less than 40, maybe 30. And I was just looking at the calendar. We have got 5 Fridays in March, and I do intend to finish it by the end of March, or even maybe before. Okay. So with that, we are on the portion where Bhagwan Shankaracharya is giving his final blessings to the disciple who has realized. But in the blessings, basically, if you look at them, all the verses, they are a description of the realized master. So at one point, Guruji, Swami Tejomayanji had said that it is actually easy to explain pure consciousness, Brahman, but it's very difficult to explain a realized master. And that is what we are seeing, these various sort of like, he can be this, he can be that, he can be this way, he can be that way. So it's very, very hard. You cannot look at a person and say he's realized or he's not realized. Okay, so let's, we are on verse 540 as per my bookmark. Vimanamalam vyasharirameta bhunaktya vishayanupastitan parechaya balavadatma veta yovayaktalingo nanushakta bayaha. He wears no insignia and is unattached to sense objects. He remains in his body without identifying with it and experiences sense objects as they come by the wish of others. The knower of Atman is like a child. So we have seen this word child come in the previous verses also, and also in Bhaja Govindam, and the context is, one context is that the child is very innocent and he may cry at one moment, but the minute he's distracted, he forgets that moment where he was crying, and then he will go on. So basically a small child lives moment to moment. So he forgets, he falls, then the mother says, oh, bad floor, and then the child will forget. So that is one connotation of it. Here he's being explained as parechya balavadatmaveta. Parechya means a child, the child doesn't know what is good for him. So the mother decides for a 2-year-old baby, 3-year-old baby. The mother looks, oh, it's raining, he has to wear boots. He must be hungry. So if she will give him food. This is good food for him. The child doesn't know what is good for him or not, but the mother knows. So it is parechya. So here that aspect is being highlighted, that just as a child eats as per somebody else's desire, wears clothes as per somebody else's desire, that way this man of realization will accept anything that comes to him. He doesn't have a desire of his own, because the ego has been neutralized. So it's not like, oh, I like this, so I want this, and I don't like this, I don't want it. It's not like that. People offer him, and generally people will know, those who are his devotees would know what he likes, what he doesn't like. So they will do things as he likes. And so as per their wishes, he goes on. That is the last 2 lines. So he just accepts whatever comes to him. One idea of his is he knows it is his prarabdha, so he accepts, and the devotees also give him. Now vigata mana identification. In Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 13, one of the jnana, the qualifications, it starts off with amanitvam adambitvam. If you remember, amanit, there Bhagwan is telling Arjun, to reach the final stage, you have to be amani, mana, identification with the body, mind, and intellect. So this identification has to be broken. That is the instruction to Arjun, like to us seekers. But this person has now broken that identification off completely, not by physically destroying the body, but realizing that he is not the body, mind, and intellect. It is an instrument in his hands, and he can use it for the good of the people, for the good of the totality. In chapter 15 also, Bhagavan says, Nirmana moha jitasanga doshaha. That is the sadhana that is given. Become nirmana. Nir, without. Mana, identification. So when I identify myself with the not self, so body is not self, I identify on account of space, time, and objects. So I am of this height, I am, this gender, I am sentimental, all that is known as identification. Okay, now that he doesn't have, vimana, he has become. In chapter 5 also, we'll be seeing in details, but Bhagavan says he lives in this city of 9 gates. So he lives in the body, but he knows the body is not his. For us, we also live in the body, but we think we are the body. That is the difference. He doesn't think he's the body, and is unattached to sense objects. Why? Because he has understood that he himself is the substratum of the entire world. There's nothing other than him. He is the source of bliss. There is no bliss. There is no happiness in the sense objects. Why will he go after it? We are going after them because we think there is happiness over there. And experiences sense objects. Okay, so he doesn't go after them, but suppose like parechya, by some others, they bring him a dish which he really likes. He will enjoy it. It's not like, oh, no, he will enjoy it, but he will not carry it forward. He will not think, when will this person make the same thing for me again? That thought will not be there for him. Okay, this is how he lives. This is as they come by the visual. The knower of Atman is like a child, and I told you the connotation of being like a child. So child-like, not childish. Okay. Digambaro va picha sambaro va tvagambaro va pichidambarastaha unmattavad va picha balavad va pishachavad va picharatya vanyam. Sometimes wearing no clothes except the quarters. We have seen this word digambara also. Sometimes with clothes, if people give him clothes, he will wear. I told you the example of Swami Tapon Maharaj. He never wore any footwear when he was wandering alone in the Himalayas. But when he would come down in the winter, then he would stay with a devotee. Then immediately they will give him some footwear. So, okay, footwear they gave me parechya. That is their wish that I should wear footwear, I will wear. But when he walked out, he always just walked out as he walked into the house. So all that footwear and everything was left behind. So if it comes, fine. If it doesn't come, then that's fine too. No exercise, sometimes with clothes, sometimes wearing skins. So in those days, if he's wandering around in the forest, then maybe somebody might give him a deer skin or something to wear. Established in the ethereal plane of knowledge absolute, because he's Atmarati. See, this word Atmarati is very important. Rati is when we revel in the objects outside. Rati. There is Kridati also. Even in Vivekachudamani, Bhagavan said Kridati, Rati. But the word Atma is a prefix to it. So Atma Rati means he revels in his own self. He's happy by his own self. He's very happy when he's alone. He never feels lonely. Never feels lonely. So he is, or Atma Kridati, playing with other objects. You can play means interact. For adults, it's not play, but interact with other objects. That is fine if people come to him or whatever, he will interact. But he is very happy on his own. That's what it is. He roams about in the world because he doesn't say this is my house, so I have to come back here. He has no house. The whole, I told you, hey Vishwachi Maje Ghara. This whole world is only my house. So what this house or that house? Anyway, I keep roaming. But Swami Tapon Maharaj is exact like this, you know. Swami, he would just be roaming around alone in the Himalayas. He used to love roaming around like that. Or then there are some others like Gurudev, you know, who roamed around also, never had a house. That's why all of our brahmacharis also, and Swamijis, they don't have a house of their own, like in their name. They just, you know, if you see Guruji's itinerary or Swami Sorpananji's, you know, it's constantly on the move. This what it is. Sometimes like one insane, sometimes like a child, and sometimes like a ghost. So insane also is used, a madman. Because the madman, you know, a crazy person, like ordinary crazy, he's in his own world. He builds castles in the air and he's in his own world. Now, the realized master is compared to a madman because he's in his own world of knowledge and bliss. Okay, not because he's crazy, but he's compared. Bhaja Govindam also, Bhagavan Shankaracharya has given this to this thing, either like a madman or like a child. And here also like a ghost. A ghost means he doesn't want to be recognized. He's not seen. Our Acharya had told us that there was somewhere a lecture series going on of a Mahatma, and one beggarly like person would every day come and sit in the last row, you know, and he looked like a beggar. So he just very inconspicuous type of a person. And one day in that lecture series, this is a true story, that Mahatma got stuck on a point, some Vedantic point, he got stuck. So suddenly this beggarly person got up, means people thought he was beggar. Okay, not that he was, but he got up and he explained that point. So everybody suddenly started looking at him and they wanted to go. And then next thing they knew, he had disappeared because they don't want any recognition. There is Ishwara Darshan, I think. There's a book where Gurudev also had walked. I read that book, and he saw he said in that book, how many Mahatmas he met there, realized souls, living without food, in the cold, in the this, because they don't want any kind of recognition from anybody. They don't want anybody to know them. They are in their own world, you know. Food come, fine. Food doesn't come, that's fine. So that's like a ghost. There are realized masters who live like that also. Raman Maharshi also was like that, but then his leading disciple found him and then he brought him out, in the sense, then public came to know about him. Otherwise, previously, Raman Maharshi, nobody knew. Okay, so this is what it is. Kama nishkama rupi sancharat te kacharo munihi swatmannaiva sada tushtaha swayam sarvatmana sthitaha. Being of the nature of desirelessness, the sage enjoys sense objects but lives alone. He is ever satisfied with his own self and exists as everything everywhere. He knows that he is that pure consciousness. So he knows that he's everywhere. So there is what, when I know that I'm everywhere, see, why do I want to go somewhere? Because I'm not there. I think I'm not there. So I want to go there and I want to see it. But with him, that doesn't come. And nature of desirelessness, all desires are fulfilled. That is the nature of moksha. What kritakritya, we have heard the word kritakritya, right? Whatever needs to be done is done. Whatever needs to be achieved is achieved. Now there is nothing more to be done and nothing more to be achieved. We always do things because we want to achieve something. Once we think, and this is the highest, recognizing one's own self, recognizing ourself to be that pure consciousness is the highest. There's nothing after that. That's why it's called param in Bhagavad Gita. Param, he always uses the word param, supreme, which has two connotations. It is a point of no return and there's nothing beyond that. So once you reach there, then why would you, do anything? Enjoys means not that he's going after them, but parechaya, by somebody else's desire, if it comes, or by his own prarabdha, it might come, then that's okay. Then he will enjoy it. And in his own self, he's tushta, very, very content. We are, we feel incomplete. So we are never content. Contentment is a sense of fulfillment. When I'm full, then there is nothing more to be desired. And this is what he lives like, he is like. The next verse is kind of a description, and I've got a few examples that I can give you. It is in prose that I'm going to read this. Kvachit moodaha vidwan kvachit api maharaja vibhavaha kvachit भ्रांतः सौम्यः क्वचित् अजगराचार कलितः क्वचित् पात्रीभूतः क्वचित् अवमत्तः क्वापि विदितः चरत्येवं प्राज्ञः सतत परमानंद सुखितः. Now in this verse, kvachit is repeated all the time. Kvachit, kvachit, kvachit. Kvachit means sometimes. Sometimes. Okay. So this is how a realized master is. How is he? Ever enjoying the blissful state of wisdom, the realized, this satata paramananda sukhita, the last line is translated in the beginning here. Ever enjoying the blissful state of wisdom, the realized man lives. Okay, that's the last line. Sometimes a fool, sometimes like a fool, kvachit, sometimes like a fool, sometimes a sage, sometimes with royal grandeur, sometimes roaming, sometimes like a motionless python, sometimes with a benignant expression, sometimes respected, sometimes insulted, and sometimes unknown. Most of the times actually unknown. I told you, all those sages that Gurudev met, nobody knew their names. They won't even tell their name because that is from their past life. What is in the name? I am nameless. We don't have to do that. We are in the transactional world, but they did that. That's why, yeah, okay, that's not for us. That's not for us. This is only for realized masters. So, Kvachit Vidwan, example, Gurudev or Swami Vivekananda. Right? Vidwan means people knew, they were all Vidwan only. Huh? So even if that unknown person is there, it's not that he is not Vidwan, but example, if we have to give, other people recognize these people. They are very wise. Kvachit api Maharaj Vibhava. Maharaj means in a very kingly fashion, and Swami Vidyaranya was like that, and Janak Maharaj. So Janak Maharaj is older from olden days. He's the only one that, Bhagavan Shri Krishna has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So he was a king. He was a realized master, but he was a king. So he lived like a king. So you can't tell that, oh, he's a king. Oh, he's enjoying everything. He's sleeping on silken, sheets and eating all this food in silver thalis or gold thalis. How can he be realized? No, no, no. He can be realized. Swami Vidyaranya also was like that. Swami Vidyaranya was the minister for two kings, Hakka and Bukka. So those of you who have been to Karnataka, Hampi is a UNESCO protected site. And that is where the Vijayanagar kingdom was. And there it was this Hakka and Bukka, the two brothers, with the help of Swami Vidyaranya, the minister. He was their advisor. They were the kings, they were the warriors. They built an empire which was absolutely very, very rich. Even now the ruins are there. It's protected UNESCO. I went there the last time I was there, right? So Swami Vidyaranya lived like a king, because he lived in the palace. But that doesn't mean he was not realized. This is what is being told. Sometimes he will live like a beggar also he will live, or like a king also he will live. That's why it's very difficult to recognize. We can never say, oh, this person, oh, it doesn't look like he's realized, he's enjoying, nothing like that. Kvachit bhrantaha. So roaming, bhranta is roaming around here and there. Okay, so Swami Tapon Maharaj was like that. He was constantly roaming. Sometimes, like a python example, Ajagara is given. See, this python is a huge snake which never goes after its food. It just lies down quietly. It lies down. And if anything comes in front of him, he'll just swallow. And he apparently swallows the whole deer or whatever. And then now he's set for months and months and months, because by the time his digestive system digests that whole thing, and he never goes after it. So the idea is that the realized master will not run after anything. That is the idea. Okay, not that he's like an ajgar, not that he's lazy or anything, but he doesn't go, oh, when will I get the next meal, when will I do this, that, and nothing like ajgar. That's why he's given a little dialogue here. Nothing has come to me yet. Will you eat something? How much? Why are you asking the question? How much do you want? Whatever you can give. So whatever, parechya. You want to give me, you give me. You don't want to give me, that's fine too. That way. So Ajgara Vritti is that's why Python. And in the 24 gurus, Avadhuta Gita, one of the gurus of that Avadhuta master was an Ajgar, Python, if you remember. And he says, why? How come Python is your guru? He says, no, I see the Python. Python never goes after anything. Ajgar never goes after anything. He just sits there. So I also sit like that only. That's my guru. If it's meant for me, it will come to me. The deer comes to him because he's destined to have the deer or whatever, and he will just swallow. So if anything comes to me, I will swallow. Otherwise, it's okay. No worries. That's why this Ajgar Vritti. Kvachit Patribhuta, like, just bored, just sitting there, doing nothing. Sometimes respected. So we see realized masters who were Raman Maharshi was very respected. Swami Vivekananda was Ramakrishna Paramhansa. We see Gurudev. We see a lot of respect people have, right? Because they've done okay, fine. Sometimes insulted also. In the people insult also because they don't know. I've given you the example of Bhikshu Gita, which comes in Bhagavad Puran. He was, because he was very, very evil in the beginning. So when he really realized, they really insulted him. But he said, okay, no problem. I'm not the mind. We feel insulted because I think I'm the mind, right? So when somebody insults me, then I get hurt. This is the difference. That is the difference between them and us. Sometimes insulted and sometimes unknown. Most of the times unknown. They don't want anybody to this thing. So we must never judge anybody, as I think is realized. No? I think no, it doesn't look like realized. We should not judge anybody like that. Okay, our attention to be only on ourselves. Nirdhanopi sada tushtaha Apyasahayo mahabalaha nityatrupto api bhunjanaha api sama-sama-darshanaha. Though without wealth, he is ever satisfied. Though without help, he is very powerful. Though he does not enjoy sense objects, he is eternally content. And though without exemplar, he has equal vision. The idea here is samadarshana, equal vision. Now this again we'll be seeing in chapter 5. The samadar, equanimity in his vision, is coming because his attention is only on the self. That's why that equanimity is coming. Chapter 5, Bhagwan will say that whether he sees a Brahmin or a dog or a dog eater or a cow or an elephant, he is looking at the same. See, there is no greatness required in seeing the differences. We all see the differences. There is a greatness required in seeing the commonness. You know, even in this class, if I keep, oh, I'm Maharashtrian and she's Gujarati and she's North Indian, she's South Indian, you know, there's no greatness required. But a little higher step would be say that we are all from India. And then to see the oneness, it needs a special vision. So that makes this person has a special vision because he has recognized himself to be the self. So he knows the self in him is the self in all. And his attention is only on the self. Our attention is on the differences most of the time. So even though he is nirdhan, without any wealth, he is very content. See, you know who is poor actually? Poor is one who keeps on wanting. He may be rich. Okay, this person may be rich, but he keeps on wanting something or the other. Then that guy is really poor. Poor is not if you don't have money. Rich is the one who is content. So even though he doesn't have money, even in our case, I may not have a big house or a lot of money, but if I am content with whatever that I have, I am rich. Because I think, oh my God, I've got so much. My attention is on the glass, which is half full. Whereas a person can be super rich and then he still wants to become more rich. See, our CEO way back that time, you know, Royal Bank CEO, he made like some 2 million or something that time. And then he said, but my counterpart in US made 5 million. So next year we have to make 5 million. So he's poor only. Now, yeah, after 2 million also, if he's then that. So here he doesn't have any, but he's got so much contentment that he's rich. He's rich. In chapter 13 also, this one is saying, even though he is asahaya, means he doesn't have strength, he's very powerful. In chapter 13, Bhagwan has said that I have so many hands and so many legs, so many eyes, so many things. The idea there is because I have recognized myself to be the pure consciousness, I know that every single hand is mine. Every single pair of hands that is moving, every single pair of legs which is moving is moving because of me. So they are all mine. And that feeling makes him very, very strong. Nitya truptaha. This contentment, very important. You know, we think happiness is in getting other objects. Happiness is actually in contentment. As long as you're content in the mind, you're happy. That is happiness. So is it? Api, he does not enjoy sense objects. He's this thing. So if they come to him, he enjoys. If they don't come to him, he's happy. It doesn't change how his mind is thinking or feeling. Okay. Api kurvan kurvanaha cha abhokta falabhogyapi shariryapya shariresha parichinnopi sarvagaha. Though acting, he is inactive. Though he experiences the fruits of past actions, he is untouched by them. Though he has a body, he is not identified with it. And though limited, he is omnipresent. So though acting, he's inactive. This is from the standpoint of the absolute reality. This is exactly verse 18, chapter 4. seeing inaction in action. So though acting is inactive means he has no doership. The Chidabhasa Viveka is perfected. So he knows that the doer is Chidabhasa, the reflection of consciousness, the ego, the jiva. I am Chit, so I do not do anything. So he has no doership. He experiences the fruits of past actions. He's untouched. Untouched means he doesn't get affected by that. He knows this result has come because of it. He is equanimous. Sukha dukhe samay krutva. He has perfected that as well. So when the result comes, what happens to us is, see, we get a result. We get it because of our past actions, and whatever it is, good or bad, we react to that. And our reaction is, oh, I like this very much and I want this repeated. I do not like this and I do not want this. And that is our relationship with the fruit. When we set up a relationship with the fruit of actions that we get, we have tied ourselves into the next birth. Whereas for him, he knows this fruit has come. Okay, enjoy, let go, enjoy, let. That's what childlike. He enjoys, he forgets the next moment. We don't forget. We relive that experience in our, oh, there's such a nice party, such a nice food, such a nice movie, such a nice, we relive it. And that is what causes the vasanas to build. Okay, but he doesn't, is untouched. Untouched means he doesn't react to them. Though he has a body, he's not identified with it. We saw amanitvam, aman, he's vimana, right? Vigatamana. So there is no identification with the body. He lives in the body of 9 gates, but not as the body. He knows, I have this body. I am not this body. He knows that very well. And though limited because of his upadhi, he appears limited, but he knows he's omnipresent. He's everywhere. For us, we think I'm here, I'm not in the other room, or I'm here, I'm not in India. But for him, because he has recognized himself to be the substratum, he knows that he is all pervading. Ashariram sada santam imam brahma vidam kvachita priya priyena sprishattaha tathaiva cha shubha shubhe. This knower of Brahman lives without the body idea, and neither pleasure nor pain, neither good nor evil ever touch him. See, this pleasure, pain, and good, evil is all at the level of the body, mind, and intellect. Auspicious, inauspicious. That's why, we say, oh, while doing puja, you have to face a certain way, you have to face this way, that way. It doesn't apply to the realized master, because he is now a realized master who is identified with the pure consciousness. Suppose space is, asked to do puja, and you tell space turn northwards or southwards or eastwards. Space will say, what are you talking? There is no directions from the point of view of space. What we have done is we have superimposed the earth on the sun, and then we say, oh, sun is here, so it is east, and sun is setting over there, so that is west. Space doesn't know. Space doesn't know. So that's why Ashariram Sada. Ashari means not that his body is physically destroyed, but he has disidentified with the body, and because of which it doesn't matter which direction he faces. The body faces in one direction or the other. He is all pervading. He cannot face in any direction because he's all pervading. And nothing touches him, because the Om, like in our chart, Om is above the vasanas. It is beyond any good, bad, because he has transcended the dualities, the pairs of opposites. So there is nothing. Stuladi sambandvato bhimani. No. Stuladi sambandavato bhimaniнаha sukham cha dukkham cha shubha shubhe cha vidhvasta bandhasya sadatmano munehe kuta shubham vapya shubham phalam va. Only he who has connections with the gross body, etc., and is identified with them is affected by happiness and sorrow, good and evil. How can any good or evil or their effects affect the sage who has severed his bondage and is identified with reality? So body, I told you, body will go through disease modifications. Mind will go through modifications because they fall in the realm of matter. They're Prakriti. Prakriti undergoes modifications. And then therefore there is, of course, happiness and sorrow. There is good and evil, auspicious, inauspicious. We have all those things. We feel like that, Effects affect the sage because he is no longer identified with the body. Long time back, I'll tell you. So there was some construction going on in my house, some renovations, and I had a tile of Ganesh, Ganpati tile from India, and I had put it there above the door, and they were banging on the other side, so that tile fell, and and there were tiles on the floor also, so it cracked, it broke. And suddenly I got so scared, I thought, my God, so inauspicious, Ganpati tile broke. And lucky for me, that was Swami Tejomanji's first visit to Vancouver. I think it was 1988 or 86. And and there was construction going on. And then I had this kunku, sindoor on the shelf, and then that fell, and all this comes from Hindi movies, seeing too many Hindi movies, because in Hindi movie, when the sindoor, then something bad is going to happen, some tile breaks. So I was also like that. This is, the very beginning stages of my studies. So I said, can I talk to you, Swamiji? He said, yeah, okay, come talk to me. I told him, then he so quietly said, see, you had sindoor. If you would have sugar in that katori, then that also would have fallen. Then would you have thought that is inauspicious? See, because it was sindoor, you thought it was. If it was sugar, construction is going on in your house, banging is going on, things are going to fall. And he said, okay, the tile fell, tile broke, Ganpati broke. Can you break Ganpati? He said, very quietly, suddenly I felt really good. So the idea is that this is what is the one who has realized the self. Anything happens to the form, it doesn't bother him, because he knows the form is an illusion, and I'm not the form. I'm not the form. I'm not the body, mind, intellect. So whatever is happening at these levels of Prakriti or Gunatita Purusha. He'll say this is happening because of the interplay of the gunas. I'm beyond the gunas. I'm beyond this. So there is nothing to worry about it, nothing to feel, like I felt. I was actually scared. I thought, oh my God, what is this? So there's nothing like that. तमसाग्रस्तवद्भानात् अग्रस्तोऽपि रविर्जनैः ग्रस्त इत्युच्यते भ्रान्त्या यज्ञात्वा वस्तु लक्षणम्. The sun which appears to be swallowed by Rahu is not actually so. People who know not the real nature of the sun in their delusion say that it has been swallowed. So this is, in Hindu philosophy, I don't know if it's philosophy or what it is, but the, what is that, Grahan, eclipse, the phenomena of eclipse that happens, we say that this planet Rahu has swallowed the sun. That is what is said. But now we know, there's nothing like that. Can the sun ever be swallowed by anybody? We know what the phenomena is. We know that the earth shadow is falling, and this eclipse, phenomena of eclipse, we know. So this is a misconception that people say that somebody is swallowing the sun. The true actual thing is that the earth is coming in between phenomena of eclipse, we know, right? So the shadow is falling, and so you see only half the sun, or you see only half the moon, and then it's a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse. So this is what this is example is given here, like Gurudev says, an example from the solar eclipse is employed here. So just like from the observer standpoint, you think that half the sun is gone, half the sun cannot be seen, the shadow is falling there, but actually nothing like that is happening. And people say that, oh, Rahu has swallowed it, and now Rahu will let go and all that. Nothing like that. So that is the example given. And the next verse, what is happening with the realized master? Tadvat. So this is what it is. That way. Just like people say that Rahu swallowed the sun, but it's actually not true. That way. Tadvad dehadi bandhebhyah vimuktam brahma vittamam pashyanti dehi vanmudhaha sharirabhasa darshanat. So too, like that, the perfect knower of Brahman, liberated from the bondages of his body, etc., is looked upon by foolish people as possessing a body. They but see an appearance of it. So just like the foolish people say that Rahu has swallowed the sun, which is impossible. Nobody can swallow the sun. So also people look at realized masters and they see them, going through all the, they might see them laughing, joking, eating good food, doing work, and then people misunderstand them. This is when Gurudev was in Florida, way back, this lady who, she's now passed on. So she's Dr. Shailaja Nadkarni, her name was. In her house, Gurudev was staying. And then one person came and he said, I want to meet Gurudev. She said, oh, he's getting ready, bath or having breakfast. And then he said, okay, I'll come after. And then after a little while he came and she said, oh, sorry, he's in a meeting. And then he said, but I also do the same thing. I eat meeting and I eat breakfast and then go for my meetings and this thing. So what's the difference between him and me? This is what the foolish people superimpose. They say they see the Mahatma also eating. Of course, the realized master is going to eat, and of course he's going to. Of course, when there is a mission there, then meetings. Every time Guruji came, we had to have a board meeting. Swarupananji comes, we'll have a board meeting. We have to. I mean, they have to meet. But the person who is ignorant, he superimposes saying this is exactly what I do too. But what they don't understand is that even though doing that, Mahatma is really not doing anything, and he's not doing anything for his ego or egocentric desires. It is not for personal gain of any money, but this organization is there. That's what this example is given. Just like ignorant people think that the sun is swallowed, sun is never this thing. The realized master has to live in the body. Has to. So whatever the needs of the body have to be done. But his vision is different. His thinking is very different. Ahi nirvalya nivayam mukta dehastu tishtati itas tataschalyamanah yatkinchit pranavayuna. The body of the liberated man remains like the slough of the snake. Here and there, it is moved about by the force of prana the way it pleases. Okay, so now his Ahihi is snake. The snake, every so often it will discard its skin, right? And then it gets a new skin. So the example is given is that the body for the realized master, for us, I am the body, right? That is our thinking. I am the body. But for the realized master, he's totally realized that he's not the body. So it's like a cloth, like we wear clothes. He says, okay, this is my house for the soul. So I am not the body. This is only my skin or my house, or this is like my clothes. That is how he treats the body. So the body becomes an object for him. For me, the body is the subject. I am the body. This is what it is for us. But for him, so, and he knows why is the body moving? Because physiological prana shakti is there, prarabdha is there, because of which the body is moving, eating, drinking, whatever prarabdha is there, that is going to happen. It is going to come. If the prarabdha is meant to get good clothes, good food, he'll come to the body. But I do not care for the body. The last line I've underlined here, he does not care a hoot whether the slough body is preserved or destroyed, consecrated, adored or insulted. It matters not to him. Sometimes the realized master is compared to a statue. So what happens is, for the whole year, either the pigeons will, in India at least, Flora fountain in Bombay, the pigeons will come and do all kinds of business whole year. Okay. Then one day when it is the birthday of that person or something, it's totally washed, clean, and then garlands. And now the statue, does he get upset? Does the statue get upset because the pigeons are doing their business or sitting on his head? Or does he get happy that he put the garland on him? No, he doesn't. So realized master is compared like that. Okay, sometimes people come and insult me. Sometimes people will come and, put a garland on me. So what does it matter? In, I think in Brahma Sutra commentary, Bhagwan Shankaracharya is compared. Is like the cow, if you put a garland around the cow's neck or some garland of thorns, that cow, if you go like this in front of it, it'll bend because it thinks is being garland, but it doesn't matter to the cow at all. That's how he compares the realized master. So whether you're putting a garland of thorns or whether you're putting a garland of flowers on the realized master, it doesn't matter to him because he knows this is to the body and I'm not the body. Strotasa niyate daru yatha nimnonatasalam daivena niyate dehaha yatha kalopabhuktishu. Just as a piece of wood is carried by the current to a high ground or low ground, so too his body is carried by the momentum of its past actions to their fruits as and when they appear. Law of karma. So the log of wood is in a current in the river, is carried by the river, by the current, and wherever it carries, maybe high, maybe low. Or if you take the example of a log of wood in the ocean, when the wave is high, the log of wood is high up there, and then the low would go down, then it would go down, the log of wood. That way, this realized master, he knows that the body is governed, is dictated by its prarabdha. Whatever has been done in the past, the body is going to receive that. So the body will receive either insults or praise. The body will receive good food or no food, good clothes, no, whatever, whichever way this prarabdha is taking him, he lets the body go because he knows he has no control over that. And prarabdha karma, I told you, doesn't get destroyed in knowledge, in the self-realization. Prarabdha karma is extremely strong. So that can never be destroyed. It has to be exhausted by experiencing. So that also he knows. So we see, I mean, Raman Maharshi had surgery and Ramakrishna Paramahansa had cancer and Gurudev had heart problems. So they know when these things comes, what happens to us? What is the difference? We think I got a heart attack or I have this, I have that. That's how I say it. Whereas what they say that, okay, it's the body's prarabdha and it has come to the body. So it's got nothing to do with me. Okay. I've got a little note here. Our body also is being carried in the same way. What we don't recognize, our body also, not that only his body is being driven by prarabdha, our body also is being driven by prarabdha. But the difference is we are deluded into thinking that we are the ones carrying the body, mind, intellect. I think that I'm directing the body. I thought I'll go there and I went there. No. It is not like that. You have to understand that this sort of thing was supposed to happen. So your prarabdha takes you there. I think I made a mistake and this accident happened. It's not like that. The accident was to happen and therefore you looked somewhere else or something and it happened. That thinking has to be reversed. And that's why what happens is when that thinking is, the question is, why should my thinking be reversed like that? Then there is no blame game. Then see, right now is, oh, he did this and therefore this thing happened. That blame game is not there. We are taking the whole responsibility on us. And that is the truth. Everything that is coming to us or not coming to us is because of what we have done in the past. So the entire responsibility is ours and ours alone. And because it is ours alone, we can amend it. We can change it. See, if our destiny was depending on somebody else, then there's no way that how we can change another person. but my destiny is done by me. And so my future destiny also will be done by me. So I try and improve myself. That's all we have to keep doing. Then this thinking will come. Okay. So the realized master knows that the prarabdha, I've given you example. Swami Taponji Maharaj had malaria. 44 days, he was shivering, shivering, shivering. He didn't go to a doctor. He didn't take any med. Not for us, huh? Please. Please, I'm warning you. I'm warning everybody. Okay. I'm myself taking my meds like you wouldn't believe. Okay. So please, please, please. He was a realized master. So he said, if this body is going to live, it will live. Why do I need medication? So 44 days after that, malaria went away. So it was okay. Not for us. First day we run to the doctor and we take medicines and we continue as per our prescription. So please, please, okay, don't. This is all for the realized masters. Prarabdha karma parikalpita vasanabhihi samsari vacharati bhuktishu mukta dehaha siddha swayam vasati sakshivat Natushnim chakrasya moolamiva kalpa vikalpa shunyaha. Through desires produced by prarabdha karma, the man of perfection, bereft of the body idea, moves in the midst of sense enjoyments like one subject to transmigration. He, however, lives unmoved in the body like a witness, free from mental agitations, like the pivot of a potter's wheel. This pivot of the potter's wheel is given, or anvil example is also given, or in the wheel we have the hub in the center and the spokes go and the wheel moves, but that hub never moves. Okay, so like that, this example is used. The person, the realized master, is so very well fixed in his own self, is fixed in the pure consciousness. Because pure, why is he fixed? You know why? Because pure consciousness is everywhere. There is no chance to move anywhere. So he becomes like a person holding on to the lighthouse. That is the example, Gurudev. You hold on to the lighthouse, the waves can never move you because the lighthouse is strong enough. So that way, now that the realized master has become one with the pure consciousness, so okay, sense objects come, he moves around in the world. He doesn't shun the scriptures have given them the freedom. They want to leave the world and go, and like I told you, many people go away. Actually, more people have gone away not wanting to do anything with this world, but these few Mahatmas who stayed, and otherwise we would have had no guidance. If everybody had run away to the Himalayas, then we would be left without any knowledge. So we are lucky that some of them chose to remain amongst us and give us this knowledge. Okay, so he moves around. He knows he's not. This point has come before also. Siddha Swayam Vasati Sakshivata, witness. That is the lesson for us. We have to remain in this body as a witness of whatever that is happening to my body, to my mind, and to my intellect. Stay as a witness, observe the mind. See, the reason that we cannot observe our own mind is because our attention is too much outside. Too much extroverted we are. So our attention is constantly on other people. But rather than that, if we keep our attention on our own mind, then we know that we are separate from the mind, and we have to see how our mind is reacting to every single situation that is coming to us. Because different situations are coming to us. Why? Because of our prarabdha karma. And how is my mind reacting to all this? Is my mind remaining as a sakshi, as a witness? If it remains as a witness is always unaffected by what it sees or hears or does. So even when the doing comes, it says, I'm a witness, the gunas are interacting with each other. Rajas is becoming very predominant, and therefore I'm just frantically cleaning my house, or sattva is becoming predominant. So now I feel like reading, or tamas is overpowering. I need to go to sleep. This is okay. That's fine. This is what's happening. We think I'm doing it. That's the difference. So because he is holding on to that lighthouse or the pure consciousness, so he samsara charati bhuktishu mukta deha. He moves in samsara, right? Some Mahatmas choose to remain in the world. People who saw Gurudev, in later years, I think Tripti should know, even in Sandipani Sadhanalaya, because the Annakshetra was over there, like, and just in the compound, but he would be taken by car just to his kutia. Tripti knows that, Gurudev, because later, he couldn't walk. So then, slope, it's sloping. His kutia is there, and Annakshetra was down. So up, because his heart was not functioning fully. So people would, there would be a car waiting there, and they would take him by car. Now, people who see this, they say, oh, this Mahatma is, going in the, but they don't know in the initial stages in Delhi, he went on the bike and he was on the bullhorn, and he himself was saying, the Swamiji is in town, one Swami is in town, please come and listen to his lectures. He himself has done that. He has walked all throughout India. So people don't know that. They only see this, the new people will only see this. Oh, even from here to there, what is a big deal? But what he has done, tapas, that people don't see. People this thing. Okay. Are there any questions so far? We are on 556. Okay. Like I said, hopefully by this month end, we will complete 581. Okay, 556.
We are on 552.
552, is it? Or did I read that wrong? 1 minute, 1 minute. Yes, 553. 553. No. Yeah, 552 finished. So 553. Sorry, I read the 3 as 6. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. All right. So little more patience. In Marathi, there is a saying, the elephant has passed, only the tail remains. The big portion has passed. The tail remains. Dhriti, Dhriti. Remember, we are studying in verse chapter 18. Somebody asked, what is Dhriti? This is perseverance. So it's a great thing. We have studied this. I'm very happy because I had done it. This was the first text that I had done after, well, I held a special class on Wednesday evening. I used to hold a class and we studied this, and it took us 2 years to complete that time also. So it's a big text. So all of you, those who are hanging in there, congratulations. And we'll take a break after this also, so no worries. Okay, any questions anybody has? We'll be meeting next Friday and we will continue with the text. Okay, all right. Om swasti prajabhyav paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobrahmanebhyo shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam kshobarahita brahmana santu nirbhayaha. Om sarvesham swasti bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayaha सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। Okay, Hari Om everybody.